Shalom Uvracha from Yerushalayim, Ir HaKodesh. We continue our joint study of Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers, and we're currently studying Chapter 2, Mishnah 8, Perek Bet Mishnah Het. As I said last week, maybe even 2 weeks ago also, it will take us a few weeks to get through this Mishnah, thank God. There are many parts to it. So tonight we're studying part 4 of Chapter 2, Mishnah 8. The teachings this evening, of course we're continuing the teachings of Hillel, wherein he teaches Marbeh Shifahot, Marbeh Zima, Marbeh Avadim, Marbeh Gazel. Increasing the number of maids will increase levels of immorality. Increasing the number of servants will increase levels of thievery. Now there are many students of Pirkei Avot who, when they start hearing words such as shifachot and avadim, and they live shifachot and avadim, maids, servants, maid servants, male servants, and they feel like, okay, let's get on to the next part of the Mishnah. This has nothing to do with us. I mean, we are, thank God, living in a pantsed world where, there are no slaves, thank God, in our midst, I hope, and there are no maid servants, and we are way beyond levels of that world, and therefore, I think in a mistaken fashion, they dismiss the teachings of Pirkei Avot in these lines, because they say shefachot and avadim have nothing to do with us. With all due respect, I would like to disagree, and I would like to say that the message of this Mishnah is as relevant today as it was in the very day that Hillel taught it. And even if technically we don't have what we call shefachot and avadim, we surely have many workers who can fall into similar categories. That's what I'd like to explain in the course of our discussion this evening. Generally speaking, the general message of Hillel in all of the first sections of our Mishnah is that increasing that which is often viewed as greatly beneficial, we gave examples of that last class, 2 classes ago, those accomplishments which are viewed as success, of pleasure and prestige, can often bring with it the very opposite of blessing. That's the general message of the whole first part of Mishnah 8 here. In tonight's study, Marbeh Shefachot, Marbeh Zima, the more maids, the more maidservants, the more lewdness, the more immorality. It does not necessarily have to be understood only in the age where there were real servants, slaves, and maids. I think even, I don't speak English that well, but I think people still use the word maids, I think in certain, is that correct? Of course, right? In different parts of the world, surely. And therefore, I would like to try to translate it in a way that is relevant to our workforce, to our life today. A person can often feel that if he or she hires or employs the services of many maids, his or her life will then become so much more comfortable and so much more orderly. A person can think that Marbeh Shefachot, if I have many people working in my home, then this will increase levels of blessing. Perhaps, says Hillel, but remember that there may be a downside to the Marbeh Shefachot as well. Marbeh Zima, the very maids, the very attendants that you're bringing into your home can also bring levels of behavior which may introduce immorality into the very holy abode of the Jewish home. Rav Hirsch brilliantly points out that already in biblical Hebrew, There is some kind of connection between shifcha and mishpacha. Shin pei chet hei, related to mem shin pei chet hei. Maybe the biblical idea, so many people, it's not our topic this evening, but so many people are struggling with, how can the Bible even condone at any level? You know, there's something called the shifcha, and he speaks about how the shifcha was supposed to become part of the mishpacha, part of the family. Rav Hirsch says shifcha and mishpacha are related in a certain sense. Even today, the home attendant does become part of the family. But, suggests Hillel, is this person's value system similar to the value system of the person or persons employing them? Unfortunately, there are many stories of negative influences on the part of nannies, on the part of babysitters, on the part of house cleaners, on the part of house attendants. Be careful! Marbeh shefachot, marbeh kazeh, marbeh zimah. If one entrusts his or her home, his or her family, in the hands of these maids, in the hands of these attendants, in the hands of these shefachot, there is a real spiritual danger which may ensue. Even in today's world, where we are, Baruch Hashem, very far away from the world of slavery, personal attendants may pose particularly problematic positions. In the language of Rabbi Bunim, in his commentary on Pirkei Avot, which I've quoted here before, called Ethics from Sinai, he writes, you know, on the one hand, an employee, well, they have a certain sense of, you know, of servitude. They have a certain sense of being, you know, subjected to their employer. But this is what he writes, and this is crucial. Yet their role in the home brings them into the orbit of the personal lives and activities of their employers. They're there, they're everywhere, they're in it, they're in the family. The sleep-in maid, the permanent resident in the home of today's society, not Hillel's society, today. It's our contention that the teachings of the Mishnah are relevant today, not only in the time that Hillel taught it. The person who's living in the house as a cleaner, as an attendant, as a babysitter, as a, I don't know, advisor, whatever they're doing there, has to be carefully screened. It is not only to check her professional credentials. It's not only to review recommendations for how she worked somewhere else, which should be carefully guided. What are her ethical codes? Is she capable of bringing zima, God forbid, to the house? What type of social life does she pursue? What are her family values? Suggests Hillel that her presence in your home, the presence in our homes, God forbid, can introduce undesired results. Haven't we heard of cases of sexual affairs with people working so closely within the framework of the family unit? Hillel warns us, marbeh zima, this can increase, God forbid, levels of immorality. There have been so many problems, so many cases of yichud violations, yichud violation issues, where, you know, according to Jewish law, one of the ways to guide the community away from prohibited affairs is that a person is not allowed to be alone with a member of the opposite sex unless they're married to them or closely related to them, you know, a mother, a daughter, a sister. But yichud. And so many times if a person is living in the house and other people are not home and they're the only ones home, so there are problems of yichud violations, which could lead to marbeh zima. Be careful, says Hillel. Home alone with the maid. Home alone with the house cleaner. Home alone with the house attendant. Marbeh zima. It's dangerous. It's spiritually dangerous. Because the results, God forbid, can be tragic. We bless all the people in the world, especially the Jewish world, but all the people in the world. We bless all the people who trust their home attendants, who trust their home employees, almost on the level of family, but maybe on some level, be careful. Marbeh shefachot, marbeh zima. We have a tradition, a beautiful tradition. Something along the lines of kabbidehu, v'hashadehu. Roughly translated. Something along the lines of you can greatly respect them, but at the same time, be suspicious. Be careful. Guard yourself. Protect yourself. Don't just give over your house to someone and say, here's the key and do whatever you want. Kabbidehu v'chashadehu. The classical example in rabbinic literature of kabbidehu and chashadehu is the story of Rabbi Yehoshua. And Rabbi Yehoshua had someone visiting with him. I'm reading a translation of Masechet Derech Eretz. Wonderful study to study. And maybe someday, maybe after Pirkei Avot, maybe we should study Masechet Derech Eretz together. Beautiful. Masechet Derech Eretz Rabbi, Masechet Derech Eretz Zuta. I'm reading from Masechet Derech Eretz. The 5th chapter, Masechet Derech Eretz Rabbi. And they tell a story there about how someone came to the house of Rabbi Yehoshua. He didn't really know the person, but he treated him with such dignity, with such royalty. He gave him food and drinks and everything.
It was very cool.
There's nothing indicated. I don't want to make up, I don't want to ex nihilio, what I don't know. He came to the house of Rabbi Yehoshua, and he gave him food and drinks, and even a place to stay. He led him up to the attic apartment, beautiful accommodations. And, the way the attics were built in those days, I don't know if there's still such attics, but today we have permanent steps leading up to the top floor in the attic. But what they had was a movable ladder from the main floor up to the attic. A ladder. And when this person went to sleep, it was very high up, much taller, I guess, than this ceiling. And when the person went to sleep, Rabbi Yehoshua removed the ladder. And in the middle of the night, this person turned out to be a criminal. And he packed up everything that was movable in the attic apartment. Packs it all up, and he's ready to climb down the steps to get out of the house and to escape with all the, the valuables of Rabbi Yehoshua. Hey, there's no way to get out. He can't jump. What is it? In the morning, so he goes back to sleep, I guess. In the morning, Rabbi Yehoshua returns the steps. He returns the ladder, the movable ladder. And the person says, what exactly happened last night? So he said, what do you mean? Well, I have to admit to you, I was ready to run out of your house. What motivated you to take away those steps? So I said, but you treated me with such dignity. You treated me with such yes. You have to honor someone, but you have to be careful. I think that's one of the messages here of Hillel. To be careful. Don't just give over something which is so precious. There's nothing more precious to us than our beings, than our families. And maybe the second part of the Mishnah also. Don't get caught up in the word avadim. It says, marbeh avadim, marbeh gazel. Oh, avadim, ayinu, lefaro. We have nothing to do with slaves. Okay, forget it. Let's cross this out. Let's get up to the next thing. That's not the right way to read Mishnah. I think it's an undignified way, with all due respect to the people who just dismiss it because we don't have avadim. So they think, we have no avadim, therefore I can't get the message from it. I don't agree. Avadim, the word eved, of course, comes from the word la'avo. You could translate avadim as some kind of permanent workers. We have workers. We have employees, right? What? Yes or no? Maybe, yeah, of course, we have employees, right? So I think that when you see marbeh avadim, marbeh gazel, don't close the book. Don't delete the section of the Mishnah. It's relevant to each of us in his or her own way. Just a technical point. I don't like to speak technical points because I know there are certain people who don't speak Hebrew who are sitting here maybe even, and surely people joining us on YouTube. Shalom to all of you. And I know you don't want to hear technicalities, but I have a certain inner love of Hebrew grammar. So I just want to make a comment. For those who understand, fine. If those who find this part of the lesson to be absolutely ridiculous and boring, my apologies. If you give the letters Gimel, Zayin, Lamed to almost anyone today as a noun, tell them Gimel, Zayin, Lamed is a noun, and you ask them how to pronounce it, how most people in the world would pronounce that word as a noun, they would say
Gezel.
Gezel, right? That's the way I would say it. Gezel, Gezel. And the word appears who knows how many times in Talmudic. Gezel, Gimel, Zayin. And if you look at almost all editions of Pirkei Avot that are vocalized, they don't write Gezel, they write Marbeh Avadim, Marbeh Gazel. Kamatz. Baruch Hashem, I was brought up in Ashkenazi pronunciation. Gazel. Or even if you want to say, Gazel, not Gezel. I was looking at the Baruch Hashem, I have many editions here of Pirkei Avot in the house, I was looking and said, does someone write Marbeh Avadim, Marbeh Gezel? And that's the way everybody says it. That's the way Gimel, Zayin, Lamed is pronounced. And then I looked through the concordance. I couldn't find one case where the noun is not connected to the next word. I'm not talking about gazelle of. I'm talking about just as a noun in its own sense. All the examples that I was able to find in Tanakh, for instance, in the book of Vayikra, Obetsumet Yad, if you're interested in Leviticus. Is this too technical? Okay, say it?
No.
Well, it's okay. It's okay.
Please.
It's okay. Leviticus 2, sentence 21. Obetsumet Yad, big gazelle. In Isaiah 61:8, Yeshayahu Samach Aleph, Sonei gazelle. Ba'olah. The noun is gazelle. I don't know where the word get it. Yechezkel, Ezekiel 22:29. Ashiku, Oshek v'gazelu gazelle. I don't know. There is a word gazel, not gezel. Gazel, where it's a smichut form, where you're talking about gazelle of, it becomes gazel. For instance, it says in 18:18 of Ezekiel, gazal gazel ach. It means the robbery of the brother, of his brother. Gezel shel, gazel shel. Or it says in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, the Gezel Mishpat, the perversion of justice. Where Gimel, Zayin, Lamed became Gezel, I don't know. In other words, if I didn't know, if I didn't see the way everybody vocalizes Pirkei Avot, I would surely write Marbeh Avadim, Marbeh Gezel. But I don't have any editions like that in the house here. Everybody writes Marbeh Gezel, and it's correct. And where the word Gezel came from and why everybody pronounced the word Gezel, I don't know, but we have linguists sitting right here. You have an answer? But where Gazel became Gezel, I don't know. Okay, back to the Mishnah. Marbeh Avadim. Yes, you have an answer. You have something to say? I'm interested. In other words, almost no. What? I check. Okay, good. We have a great person looking it up right now.
No, great.
In my opinion, I'm entitled to my opinion. Marbeh, in other words, I don't know anyone who pronounces the word. Let's say when you come into Talmudic text about the inappropriate levels of robbery, and the word Gimel, Zayin. Everyone I ever studied with my whole life, they all write Gezel. Gezel, Ma'araya, Gezel. That's the way they pronounce it, Gezel. But someone should pronounce it Gazel. It's a chidush gadol for me. Okay, Marbeh Avadim, Marbeh Gazel. The more Avadim, I would like to translate the word as attendants. You don't have to translate the word slaves. The more attendants the person has, the more personal home workers, the more one may suffer from various problems of theft. That's not a teaching only about avadim in the sense of slaves. That's true of today also. Since the home worker, since the house attendant knows every corner of the house, often they are the ones to be suspected when precious valuables, when precious documents go lost. Now I know, admittedly, it's true that often it could turn out that they were completely innocent. Chas v'shalom, right? God forbid someone should be suspected of something which they're not guilty of. There's a great rabbi in the Gemara who says, "I want to be in the category of people who people suspected him of a certain inappropriate action, but I wasn't guilty." That's what he says. I don't know how many other people would say that, but that's what he says. I want to be together with the class of people the Choshdim Ve'ein Bam, something like that in Masechet Shabbat. But Marbeh Gazel, but Marbeh Gazel is true. Even seemingly very dedicated workers, let's say working with people, God forbid all the handicapped people should be healed tonight, But let's say even workers working with handicapped people. Sometimes you see people working with people who are very elderly and very limited in their mobility, and these are the people that are taking care of them. There have been so many cases where people have swindled funds from their employers. Right? This is read. We read about this all the time.
There is no gezel.
What?
There's no
word gezel. I said that, right? There is gezel. I said gezel.
Zela.
I'm sorry?
Zela. Gozel.
There's no word gezel. Where? Even you're looking at a dictionary. What are you looking at?
Yeah, it seems like.
There's a Hebrew dictionary.
Yeah, from the Hebrew.
Everybody I know says the word gezel.
No, there is no violation.
Correct. It's correct. I'm curious where it comes from. Okay. Even very dedicated workers, working with handicapped people, working with elderly people, we're working with people of mental, levels of limited capabilities, physical levels. There are cases, so many case histories, where they swindle funds from their employers. They're the ones who typically take care of their bank accounts. I know cases, where the only one who takes them to the bank, they can't go to the bank on their own. They're in a wheelchair, or they don't really know how to get to the bank, or they can't travel to the bank. So it's their workers. I would like to call them avadim. Again, I want to get out of this translation of avadim meaning slaves. Let's translate it workers, attendants. Maybe somebody can help me with the English, a better word. You know what I'm saying? Personal attendants. They typically take charge of their bank accounts, for it is the worker who takes them to the bank. The very workers are often the only ones who know the ins and outs of their entire economic portfolio. They're the only ones who really know what's going on with this person. Marbeh Avadim, Marbeh Gazel. So many painful reports. So many painful reports of many of these workers taking advantage, God forbid. The innocence of their employers. They take advantage of them. The point of swindling their very employers out of the money. And I think that all of that is part of the message of Hillel. Yes, they seem to be administering, they seem to be managing the funds, but Hillel warns, Marbeh Avadim, Marbeh Gazel. Psalm 127, Tehillim, I'm interested. Please. Just if you can speak loud, because they want to hear also on...
Is Gazel like a sof pasuk? You always have an O at the end, Gazel? Would it be like the ending?
I don't think so.
It's not.
I don't think so. I mean, again, I don't...
When you finish a pasuk, you end up with...
Yeah, but this is not only at the beginning, at the end of the pasuk, it's in the middle of the pasuk. The pasukim that I quoted are in the middle of pasukim.
At the end of that statement, Marba Vadi Marzer Gazel. Don't question it.
No, I'm talking about biblical words. Because in the Mishnah, maybe you could say, in the Mishnah you could say maybe we don't have a tradition of exactly how to read it, but you know, I mean,
no, you have no.
In the pasukim, they're not at the end of the pasuk at all. No, I we can go over it afterwards if you want the examples that I cited. From Vayikra, from Yeshayahu, from Yechezkel, elsewhere.
This is Gazel.
Gazel. That's the way. Look at all the vocalized texts of Pirkei Avot. That's the way they all write it, and it's so unusual. What are they writing? Marbeh. What's Gazel? Where did they get Gazel? They should write Marbeh. Nobody. I didn't see anybody of all the Pirkei. I have two shelves here of Pirkei Avot books. I didn't see anyone write Pirkei. I'm sorry. Kamatz. Say red. Kamatz or a. Okay. So in Tehillim 127 we learn Im Hashem lo yivneh vayit shavav luvorav ba. If God is then involved in building the home, protecting the home, those who build it will be laboring in vain. May we merit the blessing of Hashem in all of our homes. And may all zima, immorality, and all gazel, theft, be kept ever so far from our homes, from our communities, from the Jewish world, Eretz Yisrael, and from the entire world. May we learn to internalize the messages of Hillel and carry it out to the best of our ability. Thank you so much for listening.